Yeah, whatever. Okay, so here is the best Linesman's Pliers shootout. I've actually just filmed a video. It was 34.5 minutes long. It was really detailed, and I thought, well, I'm going to do another option on this because I don't know about you, but when I see a 35-minute video on YouTube, usually I'm putting that one in the watch laters if I really like the first one. And I'll get back to it when I can. So I'm going to aim for a shorter video with this. But basically, long story short, we've got 3 different sets of Linesman's pliers here. We've got Channellock 369s. We've got the Irwin NWS rebrand. I'll put a link in the description, or not in the description. I'll roll in a card for it. I have a couple videos where I talk about these pliers. But these are rebranded by Irwin VISE-GRIP. They're made by NWS in Germany. And then I have the venerable Kleins. A Linesman's plier so good that the name Klein has become synonymous with this style of plier. North America, United States construction sites, among electricians, they'll just say, hey, I need to go buy a new pair of Kleins, or hey, will you hand me my Kleins, or so these speak for themselves. So these two, the Channellock and the Klein, made in the United States, and the Irwin NWS pliers, made in Germany, rebranded by Irwin to sell in North America, and maybe other places too. Some of the similarities, differences, well, right off the bat, you could tell the handles are different on the Klein and the Channellock. They have a dipped style of handle, like a plastic, rubbery plastic style dipped handles. They are a little bit lighter in hand to use as a result of that. I should say less bulky. Also point out both the Channellock and the Irwin NWS pliers are both rated to cut ACSR cable. The Kleins are not. Klein does make a plier that is actually several different pliers that are rated for ACSR, but my particular pair are not. And I will put links in the description to all 3 of these pairs of pliers. So the Channellock, again, the dipped handles. I'll say the 3-piece handle, they've got 3 different textures here. They've got the rubberized, softest black part where your palm and where your fingers go. And then the blue part is kind of a mid-density, and the yellow part is kind of a harder density. And the handles on these do have the option for a lanyard attachment. They sell the attachment, and the lanyard, it like slips on there and very positively locks on. If you're working over water or up high, you want to hang these around your neck. These give you the option. These are also called combi pliers by NWS because of this right here. Obviously you can grip nuts or bolts, whatever you need to with those, and that's an option that neither the Channellock or the Klein has. Quality, well, all 3 of them are really good quality, but if we're talking just in terms of fit and finish, I have to admit that the Channellocks lag behind a little bit. If you look at the crosshatch on the Irwin NWS, and here it has crosshatch in here as well, they are a little bit cleaner. Also, you see up here you've got this kind of design element that's a little bit more intricate, kind of makes it look nicer. I don't know functionally how well that would do. Actually, I do have an opinion on that. Wait a minute. These have an Allen-headed screw, though, so over time you do have the option with these Irwin NWS's to tighten up that pivot point if and when that over the course of time gets loose, it becomes necessary, you can tighten that up. The Kleins don't have that. The Klein and the Channellocks are both like a hot rivet style, and the Kleins are very nicely machined. All the lines are straight, everything is uniform. They're probably not quite as don't know, fashionable as the Irwin NWS, but in their own way, they are very, very well done. And it does not have any crosshatch back there, so I can't show you that. But they're very, very clean. The Channellock, not quite as much. The crosshatch, although it is well done, it's not quite as attractive in appearance and as clean looking as the other two pliers. Also, you see the pivot point on these. These are Channellock 369, and they have what the Channellock is dubbing XLT, Extreme Leverage Technology. The pivot point is closer to the cutting edge on these pliers than on either of the other two. So in theory, at least, these should cut more easily. They also spread a lot wider. Well, not a lot wider. They do spread noticeably wider than the other pairs, and I'm not even going to try to hold these side by side and do that. But you see the Irwin NWSs are probably the least. That way the Kleins are about middle of the road as far as how wide the jaws spread, and the Channellocks, as a result of that, NWS are broader head. How they feel in hand, that's an important thing. Probably as a consequence of the narrower head and the less bulky handle, the Channellocks feel the lightest in hand. These have probably about a 60-40 balance. The head they are still a little bit front heavy, but they feel nice and light in hand because, again, you don't have that bulkier handle. I have big hands, and none of these handles bother me as far as you know, the bulkiness. But I would think if somebody had smaller hands, they would probably prefer either the Channellock or the Klein. The Klein have the most forward, front heavy feel of all three. These feel like about a 70-30 balance. And I was actually talking with Mike's Tool Shed. I'll roll in a video of his up here. He prefers the Kleins, and one of the things that when I was talking, kind of preparing this video and picking his brain, he pointed out the fact that the Channellock, the pivot pin, is closer to the cutting surface, so, but it's also a lot smaller. If you look at that pivot pin in there, see if I can get a better shot now. It's a little bit better. He said he would be worried over time that such a small pivot pin would give you issues, whereas on the Kleins, it's a more robust, bigger pivot pin. I don't know if that's the case. Channellock does have a warranty. They do warranty. They don't have a quote-unquote lifetime warranty, but they warranty against defects in either materials or workmanship. So you could probably, if that did happen to you with these pliers where that pivot pin, the smaller pivot point, gave you issues, I'm guessing they would take care of you. But it doesn't really give me any qualms. I mean, I'm not concerned that these are going to break. I'm really not. The Irwin NWS, what is there to say? If I'm looking for just attractive, and it's not a fashion show, but we're trying to do a comparison here, the Irwin NWS look the sportiest. But what functions the best? What functions the best for you? These are probably the closest to a 50-50 feel. They don't feel front heavy, and I think a lot of that is due to the fact that they have more bulk here in the back with the bulkier handles. So they feel more like a 50-50 balance, whereas the Channellock is probably about a 60-40, 60 being the front, and the Kleins are about a 70-30. So it's personal opinion, it's personal preference at some point. Weigh in the comments section. If you have any of these, if you have all of these, let me know. Let me know what your preference is. Maybe you prefer another brand. These are just the brands that I have. I'm going to do a real simple cutting test here. We got some 14-2 Romex, so the hot, the neutral, and the ground. the Channellock. And I already did these tests, so I already have my opinions, but just for the camera I'm going to do it here. I don't do torture tests. If you want those, you're going to have to go somewhere else, at least for this video. These are realistic cutting tests. Yeah, same thing. Same thing as the last video, folks. I'm going to draw the same conclusion. There's nothing new under the sun here. Here's the Kleins. Yeah, like butter. Now let's do the wire coat hanger here. It's about the size of a wire coat hanger. Kleins, nothing. Irwin NWS. Channellock. Yeah. Same thing as before, folks. They all cut very easily. But if I have to pick which one cuts the easiest, it is the Channellock. It's the smoothest throughout the cut. The Klein is probably almost as smooth and cuts almost as easily, but these are just, these American made ones are just a fraction apart here. Sorry, studio light issue. They're just a hair apart. The Channellocks do cut a little bit easier. You notice though with the Irwin NWS, I'll do it here again with the coat hanger, they eject the wire. They eject the Romex. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that that's probably because of the fact that the geometry of the cutting surface is a little bit different on these. So they're more prone or more designed or whatever. They just eject whatever you're cutting more than the American made pliers do. Now, is that something you like? Is that something you hate? Personal preference. I mean, I don't really care. There is a little bit more pressure required with these. Irwin NWS, they would probably come in third place. The Kleins require extremely minimal effort, and they're very smooth. But they come in second to the Channellock, which just cut the easiest. They just do. Would that be the same in larger cable or different material? Maybe it would. But in the test that I'm doing, these are definitely first place. You practically, all you have to do is let the weight of the handle do the work for you. At least in 14.2 Romex or in a wire coat hanger. Let me know if your mileage is different on these. Just let me know. I mean, opinions are welcome on this video at least. So let's talk about price really quick and wrap it up. I think we already talked about what the most attractive ones are, probably the Irwin NWS or the Klein, depending on what you're looking for. The Channellock, they're a little bit more wavy. They're not quite as even throughout in the same way that the other two are. So these are probably about the least attractive in that regard. But in my cutting tests, they function the best. So it, you know, everybody's going to have their own opinions. But my opinion is if you have to pay full price for these, I'm going to go with the Channellock, because on Amazon, links in the description, on Amazon, these are about $22 or $23, and sometimes they drop below $20. On Amazon, these Irwin NWS rebrands are about 30 bucks. The regular price at Lowe's was $43. Are they worth it for that? Yeah, I do. Even for $43, these are great pliers. The Channellocks would be worth it for $43 as well. But the Kleins are probably the most expensive Amazon price, and they are run pretty consistently about $33 or $34 on Amazon. So if I have to make a decision on what I'm going to buy, if I'm paying full price for it, I'm going to pick the Channellock, because I don't appreciate the beauty of either the Irwin NWS pliers or the Klein enough to pay that much more for them. Even for $7 more or for $10 more, I would rather have the $10 cheaper or the $3 cheaper. I like Channellock that much. I do own all 3 sets of these pliers though, and I'm telling you, if they told me tomorrow that all 3 of them they were going to start charging, you know, $40 or $45 each for all 3 of these pairs, I would have to say I don't think they're out of line to do that. All 3 of these pairs of pliers are great quality. They really are. But for me, I'm going to choose the Channellock. I just think the combination of the lowest price, the ease of cutting, and let's face it, if you spend less on something like this, if you ever do have to abuse it, you kind of feel less bad about it. If I paid, well, about 18 or 19 years ago, I bought my first pair of Kleins, and I think I paid about $40 for them. And I'll admit, at the time, if I had junkier jobs to use them on, I would go to my Craftsman Linesman's pliers because I didn't want to use my expensive pair on that. All 3 great pliers. I don't think that you could go wrong any of these 3 ways. There are other great quality brands out there. These are the ones, the 3 that I personally own that are the nicest. And I mean, let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree, disagree, what your experiences are. Opinions are welcome. You guys have been rocking it. Again, check out the links in the description to Amazon. Check out onlinetoolvendors.com, our website. Kevin made the website, Junkie and I just kind of contributed a little bit. Well, we have our Amazon stores on there. That's what we contributed. Kevin's the one doing all the heavy lifting there. But great information on the website. And until next time, ta-ta for now.